Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Cyberpunk 2077 Community Podcast. My name is Ash for the Triple S League. If you're a regular listener to this podcast, you may not recognize my voice unless you are subscribed to the Triple S League YouTube channel, but I am the other half of the Triple S League. I'm in for Cybsidian today because he had some stuff going on. And so I get to host here today as punishment for missing our normal podcast yesterday. Actually, just kidding. I'm actually quite looking forward to this. It's been forever since I've been on the community podcast, so it's really great. I'm here with a great bunch of people. All our regulars are here. First up, we got LastKnownMeal.
Hello. It is great to be back. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, you were off for a bit. How was your time off?
Man, I was like, at that time I was working a lot every single day, so I was like, I needed a break, and I know the channel was gonna suffer, but I had to, and then I, went to the sea, went to see my girl, and it was crazy. It was nice. You rest a bit, and you're back to make more videos.
Is your girl a mermaid?
What?
You said you went to the sea to see your girl, so I just thought.
Yeah, with her.
Oh, with her. So she's not like a siren or something. Okay.
That would have been really
No,
cool.
no.
That other voice you just heard is the NeonArcade, who is snowed
chat.
in, I hear. How are you doing?
Yes. I'm pretty good, other than the fact that it's like super cold here, and yeah, it's been a slow week, so we're just relaxing up in the north, up in Canada. So it's been good.
What's funny is I'm north of you, and we have no snow yet.
Yeah, that's kind of unfair.
I know. And then we also have the illustrious Madqueen Show. How are you doing?
Good. I went to the spa and I came home that I smell so good and I am so soft. And I like smelling it. I like it. I'm enjoying myself.
Madqueen is enjoying smelling herself.
She's feeling herself.
Contrary to rumors that started on our Augmented Reality podcast yesterday, I was not chained up in the closet with Madqueen.
I was in the podcast yesterday.
Yes, you
instead
were.
of you.
Before you arrived, someone in the chat was like, Cyb's got Ash and Madqueen chained up in the closet. I know it. No, I was at a wedding, and no, Cyb's got other stuff going on today. So, all right, but we're here to talk about...
Before we go on, please allow me to say hello to Sun Squad and Derek win again. But saying hello directly to me, I thought it would be rude not responding. Hello.
Well, then I should say hello to Overlord 580 and somebody... Oh, where's Time Bean? I don't know. All right, but yes, hello to everybody who's in the live chat already. Please, if you have any questions or topics you'd like us to cover today, it's been there are a few things to talk about. It's been a slower news couple of weeks. They're not letting a ton out, but there is some stuff we can talk about. But please put your questions and topic requests in the chat, and we'll try and get to them.
Yeah, it's weird. I believe that this week we didn't have any of these invented news. Which I rather than not having, but...
Mm-hmm. Well, one interesting piece of news, Mike Pondsmith, according to PCGamesN.com, Mike Pondsmith has a bulletproof backpack. He bought for research purposes.
Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Actually, Talsorian Games showed it on Twitter long ago.
Oh, did they?
Mm-hmm. That was
Yes,
for
they
Cyberpunk
did.
Red.
This is the first I'd heard of it. This was posted 3 days ago.
Yes, it was shown. It was shown as Neo said before Cyberpunk Red, the Jumpstart kit was released.
Well, I'm behind the times. But anyway, yeah, so...
Well, not really. I mean, I follow an account on Twitter that is about Cyberpunk 2077 news. And past week, they published some news from E3 2018. So, yes, there are people who are way behind you.
Oh God.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not a lot of
News
people knew
recycling.
about the backpack thing. I don't
Yes,
think
well,
many
like I said, it's the first I'd heard of it, but yeah, he had bought it for research purposes, investigating bulletproof materials, how noticeable it is, that kind of a thing. Also, he was planning to take it down to the shooting range and pump some 9mm rounds into it and see how well it works. Hopefully, he removes the
wonder if they
contents
did.
first.
Man.
Or
I wonder
put
if
some
they actually
contents
did
to
it.
test. So,
Yeah, how much do you believe in your backpack, Pondsmith? Keep your original source materials in there. take some shots at it.
They can keep the original illustrations for Cyberpunk that they have the offices of Talsorian.
You know what?
See if he can trust his backpack enough.
But you know what? I bet with a couple of bullet holes in it, those materials which fetch a huge price. It's like not only do you have like Mike Pondsmith's original handwriting, but then he took it down to the range and shot it. Original bullet holes.
Internet going crazy.
Yeah,
all of a sudden.
absolutely. Anyway, so that's one interesting bit of news I found. We also had the Polish voice actors for Cyberpunk 2077 announced.
I have a friend who is Polish that said that as soon as the Netflix show is up, he was going to put the old Polish Witcher show on the torrent
Oh my god.
for people to download the Polish show when they were trying to look for the Netflix show.
Oh,
The Polish show is not very good.
It's okay.
People in Poland don't like to talk about it, apparently.
I don't know. Like the thing is, like for me, it has somewhat of a nostalgia trip. It's like, yeah, it's the first low budget try to put The Witcher on the screen, but it's the first try. I mean, come on.
When did it come out? Does anybody
A
know?
long time ago. I have to see. I think 2001 or something like that. Yeah, 2001. It was a film, and then the series at the same time. Okay, but yeah, that was a while ago. I mean, yeah, but they actually like really nailed the casting for Geralt. I mean, Michal. Yes, I think that's how you pronounce his name, because I was just corrected. He honestly did a great job as Geralt, like with the looks and acting. You know, it's still a low budget show, so acting cannot be, properly done with the right directors, blah blah blah, with preparation. But that was cool. That was really good. I mean,
Well, I must confess that the first image that I saw on the Netflix show on Geralt, I also thought it was quite low budget. I'm glad they fixed a couple of things on the original screen camera tests.
yeah,
because Geralt looked like he had a bob on his head.
Yeah,
The
kind of.
images
The wig was
inside the series.
horrible.
Yes,
yeah,
and
the
it
wig
looks
was
better
awful.
now. It looks better now.
It does. It
in
does.
in defense, usually like makeup and those kind of tests, like costume tests, are cringy. But it seems like they posted it so like it's trailer, it's like a teaser, it's something like that. I was like, no, don't do that. God damn it, people are already angry.
Yes, but tests are tests. That doesn't mean that it's the final thing. But if you put it out, people is going to believe it's the final thing.
Well, isn't that
that's
Nilf
when we have
Guardian
an issue.
armor?
Sorry?
Isn't the Nilf Guardian armor like final? The one that looks like
that was fine.
Yeah. So people are pretty upset about that.
Oh yeah.
Not upset, but they're just
they're upset, man.
They are?
I read my comments.
I am so afraid to read the comments on your Witcher videos.
Oh, it's a roller coaster. Oh, it's a roller coaster again.
In fact, reading them convinces me to not do any. If anybody asks a question about it, it's like I send them to your channel, like what's LastKnownMeal. He knows.
Yeah,
he
pretty
knows.
much.
Yeah, there's some positive, there's some negatives. Like, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know, every second is like good one, then you see a couple of bad ones, then it's like 5 of good ones. It's like crazy stuff. But yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of amusing when you are on this side of YouTube, and obviously this content is not for you, but for the people watching. When you put content out, and then visitors get mad at you for things that obviously are not your decision.
Yeah, you're just reporting on it. You're not making the decisions. I don't think they know that.
Oh yeah, I don't know. Some
How
people
dare you
don't.
tell me the truth?
Exactly.
The first time I saw that Geralt screen test, my actual reaction was, are they making some kind of Legolas show? Like, what is this?
Kind of, yeah.
But for real, having Michal as Johnny Silverhand is a genius move, honestly.
Yeah. Now he was the voice of Geralt. He was the Polish voice of Geralt in the Witcher series. But Was he also in that TV series you were just talking about?
Oh yeah. He was the actor.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He was Geralt.
He was Geralt in
Was
the old TV series, and then they brought him on as the Polish voice for the video game.
Was he the Polish voice
Is
of the video
that-
game of The Witcher? Or was
I
he
don't
just
know.
the
I have to
actor?
see.
I think he was just the actor.
Okay,
have to see.
I guess we need to fact check this. I thought my impression was he was the Polish voice actor from.
No, he wasn't
doing
in.
the
Yeah,
Polish
he's only doing
voiceover for Silverhand.
Cyber.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So he was the actual actor for the show, but he's being brought on as
Yeah.
as Johnny
And
Silverhand.
honestly,
Okay.
Full circle for real. Like you start off as Geralt of Rivia in like the first show, and then they bring you on to be Johnny Silverhand. I mean, it's genius. It's genius for people that live in Poland that want to play this game, but let's say they don't know English, they will switch it, and they have Zabrowski. So that's cool. It's really good for the target audience because a lot of Poles play their game, and everyone who plays it in English can switch it if they're a Witcher fan or something like that. They're going to switch it. So yeah, that's cool.
Even the German voice acting for Keanu Reeves, I think they have someone high profile as well. I think Night City Life was talking to us on the podcast about that. I forget who he mentioned, but again, they have high profile people for across all the different languages.
And also the voice actors for male and female V, Lydia Sadova for female and Kamil Kula is for male V. They were also involved in previous CDPR works. Yeah, they were doing voiceover for a Polish version of The Witcher. They weren't like big actors. I mean, big roles. And in Hearthstone, he was. Let me just find it for a quick sec. I think I lost it.
Hearthstone or Hearts of Stone?
No. He was in Blood and Wine. He was in Hearts of Stone, but he was a peasant, a voice of a peasant there. He was in Wild Hunt. He was Eustace and John Girmer that you also meet. I think John Girmer is that guy that you meet on the side of the road that you actually help him. Yeah, he's I don't want to spoil anything, but that's a quest in White Orchard. So yeah, he was involved in their previous work, and that's cool.
Yeah.
Before we go on, I would like to answer a question on the comments. You. Ooh, that's an emoji in Spain. Do you think Night City will be bigger than GTA or Red Dead map in terms of kilometers? Well, that's the thing. Developers have been asked this question plenty of times, and they said that they have no idea about the exact size of the map. It's really big, and it expands both in horizontal and in vertical, but the exact kilometers of the map is something that is not known.
And the important thing to note there is that, it's more than just the outer boundary of the map that is, it's good. It's probably a good thing Syb's not here, or he would rant about this for probably 15 minutes. It's not the outer boundary of the map that matters as much.
Let me cut you here just to make a comment. Syb can rant about things for 50 minutes, and I don't know why we didn't have a combat this time that Pavel Sasko was in the podcast. We should have made some sort of combat between them two, because they're both able to rant for long.
Yeah, a rant off. We can, we should set that up. A rant off between Syb and Pavo. But anyway, so I mean, there's so much verticality to the world, and there's going to be lots of buildings with multiple floors, that kind of a thing. Lots of structures with multiple floors. It's where you can be above and below other areas. There might be underground areas. So the outer boundary of the map, in terms of like if you're just looking down on its satellite view, that could be, it could be smaller. It could like fit inside, say, the Witcher 3's map, if you're including all of the the DLC and stuff. That is possible. I don't know that they've actually measured that. I'm just saying it could be, in terms of the outer boundary, smaller than some other games, but packed with stuff, and also content layered on top of content to make, just an absolutely massive world. Which
Yeah.
makes...
And I don't think we've had a game that's been this vertical. I can't really think of anything in the past that seems to offer this kind of verticality. Because even when you watch the 48-minute demo and you look up, it's just like a never-ending mega building, right? So if we can go to the very top of that, that's a lot of space. That's a lot of square footage that you're packing into a little tiny area.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially especially if you like, let's say everyone who plays RPGs, open world RPGs, you would rather have a smaller map that is filled with content than have a huge open space that lets, oh, that's beautiful, or maybe not, but it doesn't have anything. It's empty.
Who wants
So
an empty open world, right?
yeah, no one's gonna go and just explore it and have no actual reward for doing that. No one.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well,
Actually,
I believe that a lot of people in the comments are asking about the subject of Morgan Blackhand.
Who?
oof.
I've
The
never
speculation.
heard. Never heard this name. Oh, of course, we will talk. Yes, okay, we should talk about Morgan Blackhand. We should talk about the screenshot
Because
that was released.
Evan Parkinson just asked a very specific question about it. What are the chances that George Clooney will voice Morgan Blackhand, seeing as that is who Mike Pondsmith had in mind? George Clooney. Well, yes, actually, Mike Pondsmith said that he imagined Morgan Blackhand like George Clooney, but he in the game? I don't know. What do you think, guys?
That's a very good question. Clooney is old school enough that he might not see a video game as a worthwhile endeavor. I don't know. I'm kind of spitballing, but
I'm imagining a more like gruffer voice. I don't know why.
A what?
I mean,
Sorry?
obviously, like a more gruff and rough voice. I think
More
Clooney's
cigarettes.
voice is too. Yeah, more cigarette. I think Clooney's voice is too smooth. But then again, who can really argue with Mike Pondsmith, right?
well, they just
It's
need
his
to
den.
get Clooney to smoke 2 packs a day for a couple of months, and then he'll fit right in that role.
Problem
No,
solved.
get rough, probably bearded or something like that. It's like, yeah.
I don't know. He's apart from being an insanely expensive actor, which I honestly have no idea what's the budget of the game, and I personally didn't expect an actor of the size of Keanu Reeves doing Johnny Silverhand, but while Keanu Reeves is a person that, as a person, he matches with the project, I just don't see George Clooney at the same level. Like, he's a super mainstream actor. He never, I don't know, all the.
And then you start to like bog the game down with too many celebrities, right? How many celebrities can you have, really?
Yeah.
You can have one standout. You can't have like 2.
Yeah, I agree with Neon here. It's like they already, like, Keanu himself is not gonna be cheap. So if you already probably took a huge chunk of that budget to have Keanu Reeves as a vital part of the game, as a huge part of the game, like if he was a cameo or something, cool, it wouldn't be that expensive. But he's one of the main side characters. He's in your head the entire time. So yeah, it's like George Clooney definitely wouldn't align with this project. I don't know if Mike Pondsmith had him in his mind for this role, and if they actually nothing can surprise me with this game anymore. Honestly, after
I
Keanu.
mean, originally Johnny Silverhand was David Bowie. So.
Oh.
And you tell me what's the similarities between David Bowie and Keanu Reeves.
Yeah. Yeah.
But are these characters that he's imagining for 2020, or is this related to 2077, the voice acting of 2077? Or is he just making analogies to his
Just
2020?
is what he said back in 2020 was his inspiration.
Right.
He's not making the same comment from the he didn't mention Morgan Blackhand in 2077, as far as I know.
True, yeah. So I think there's a little distinction there, right?
But they've been teasing a lot. I don't know. It's like we already know Silverhand is in the game, and now and this is the wallpaper that was posted a while ago. This is not new. This do you need a hand wallpaper? But honestly, everyone is teasing. Then we had what's his name, who is the lead quest designer at CD Projekt Red. Sorry, I forgot his name.
Philip.
Yeah.
Philip Weber.
Yes.
Who I
Philip Weber.
thought, for the longest time, I thought he was Irish. Why? I don't know. Where he's from? Where is
I
he
have
from?
no clue. I have no clue.
Because I've seen him talking in German on Twitter, but I didn't know
Philip
he was German.
Weber.
He might be
Yes.
German.
It might be German, yeah, because that's Philip Weber. Might be German easily.
Philip with 2 P's on the end.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty German.
Yeah. I mean, he says like,
And he's
yeah.
a senior quest designer. The lead is
Oh,
Battlestar.
sorry, senior. I'm a little bit numb today, but anyway.
Lead quest design is the dear lord.
Dear Lord, actually, I laughed so much on that meme. God damn it! Whenever he's asked the question, oh, God, dear Lord. But no, for real, everyone is teasing someone, and I don't know. It might be too obvious for Morgan Blackhand. Might be some new companion, as you guys discussed in your podcast. But I don't know. I would love
I
it
don't
to
know.
be Morgan
Are going
Blackhand.
to be. I mean, it's absolutely obvious. I believe it's obvious that a lot of characters in 2020 are going to be in 2077 because the people that are making this video game, they are nerds and they used to play 2020. And if you play 2020, the first thing that you want to do is to put the characters you love there. But every time that we see a new character, we're going to ask, is this character going to be a companion? I don't know. I mean, how many characters do you believe they're going to put from the lore? Because Morgan Blackhand is one. I mean, as at the same level as Johnny Silverhand, not that much. But Al Cunningham, we also know is there.
Let's
I
say
mean, they're
Moss too.
yeah.
They've
We've got
referenced him on there.
So we've got Blackhand, Silverhand, and Alt Cunningham all making a resurgence in 2077 now. What
Yeah,
other...
but but Blackhand is still not confirmed. It's still
Not
based
okay,
on,
not confirmed, but I
Yeah.
mean it's sounding like that's
Mm,
gonna be him.
They
I
have
mean,
a,
yeah,
they have a concept art screenshot where this guy has
Yeah.
a black arm augmentation. Have you guys seen that? I don't know if you guys have
Yes,
talked about
it's
that at all.
from it was released past E3.
Yeah, that was 2018, all the way back then, right? So that I think that might even be Morgan Blackhand.
Yes,
Would
but
be.
it's not something that we
Obviously.
can trust because T-Buck was a guy in the
Mhm.
first
Oh, true. Yeah, in the
concepts.
concept. Hmm.
If
I
it's
mean,
not
it's
Morgan,
just an
then
additional piece of evidence, right?
yeah.
Got a black augmentation.
But they're bringing back a lot of old guys and gals, but and programs. But for real, but for real, they're bringing in everyone, almost everyone that was in 2020, and of course, it raises the popularity of the game. Fans go nuts. I mean, it makes sense, and they
It
can
does
always
make
think of
sense.
everything.
I'm looking forward to if Blackhand is in the game. I'm looking
Well,
forward to
I'm counting on obviously Johnny Silverhand and Al Cunningham, Morgan Blackhand, also Carrie Eurodyne. If Silverhand is in the game, Carrie Eurodyne is going to be Best Isis. If we're talking about Samurai, Best Isis needs to be in the game. Rage Bodmus, he's in the book, but he has to be in the game somehow. Someone from the Arasaka family, Yorinobu, well, most probably he's an engram. He can survive up to 2077. Hanako Arasaka, that is he's leading one of the Arasaka branches, which is a company we don't know much about what's going on 2077 because around the 40s or the 50s they split in 3 branches. So which is the branch that is controlling Night City? Because if we're going back to 2020, Night City is controlled by Arasaka. And I remember in previous trailer that T-Back flatlined size up from Arasaka when they were going to reveal a plan for Night City, which I don't know if this is part of the story anymore. But if we're going for the spirit of 2020, then obviously Arasaka owns Night City. So who is going to be at the head of Arasaka? There's a lot of characters. Also, someone from the Aldecano family. We need to have someone from the Aldecano family there. There are so many that.
And I think that, like, if you put too many of them in, there's a risk of it becoming like, how did all of these people who supposedly died survive? I'm already looking forward to if Blackhand's in the game, Blackhand meeting Silverhand and being like, Wait, you survived? How the hell did you survive? I survived too. You survived? What? How did it?
Differently to Johnny Silverhand, who was clearly said he was cut in half. And in the chapter where his death is explained, the title of the chapter is Johnny's dead, babe. Johnny's dead. Is dead. So it's pretty clear he was dead. But it's not clear if Morgan Blackhand was dead. I mean, this was incredibly open. In fact, in Cyberpunk Red, they repeated again, it's not known if he's dead.
Yeah, he was presumed dead, but not. Yeah, it wasn't confirmed that he was dead. No.
He fell from a building, I think, with Adam.
Didn't the building fall on him then?
Yes.
Smushed.
That happened at the moment that an AV4 from Militech was retrieving was extracting the team. So he could have jumped to the AV. He could have done a lot of things. I mean, it wasn't as close as Johnny. He could have survived.
Yeah, well, Johnny was gunned down, right? And then the building blew.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, it is plausible. Like the door was left open for these characters to have survived potentially. So yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if we saw Blackhand in the game.
But he would have to be old, or be, I don't know, something else. For real.
He would have to be fairly old, unless I mean, with cyberware and stuff, that's definitely more of an option.
Do we know? I mean, I don't. Maybe it's written. How old was he in 2020? Is there any knowledge whatsoever
He
about
was. Someone please make the calculation for me. He was 17 in 2003.
17, 2003.
So he was 34 in 2020.
Well, let me check. When was the first Central American? The second Central American conflict.
I mean, he would have to be half cyborg for real if he survived for that long. Yeah, he would be about 100. Yeah, it would be old. No, not that old.
Well, if that's true that he was 17 in 2003, then he was born somewhere around 1986. So yeah, he'd be 90.
Oh God,
he'd be somewhere around 90. Solo. Yeah.
Still more dangerous.
He was referenced in the Cyberpunk Red Jumpstart kit, wasn't he? He was in the timeline. That he came.
Sorry?
He was referenced in Red. Yeah, he was.
Blackhand was referenced in Red.
Yes, it was explained that during the fourth, it was said that he was a double agent. He was working for Militech. He was the head of security of OTech. Actually, he was hired. He was a company man from Militech since 2013, I believe.
Right.
And there he was put at the head of OTech security, and it was said that he was also informing the president of the States.
And on the timeline, I think that was in the 2030s sometime, because Red extends to 2045. So we know where.
Yes, but they say that it's a rumor that he was.
True.
Red insists a lot that no one has ever seen him again since the fall of the towers in 2023.
But
I just checked. I was right. 2003. He was 17 in 2003.
Okay, so that means in 2077 he'd be 90, 91, somewhere in that range. Now with I mean, he's a successful solo. He could probably afford some life extending technology. So yeah, it makes sense he'd be around, or he'll be a crotchety old man who. That would be funny. Crotchety old augmented cyborg man. It could be interesting. Some suggestions in chat of who would be good to play Blackhand if he is in the game. Ron Perlman, Mads Mikkelsen, except Yusef gives the the qualification that Mads Mikkelsen would be perfect, but people would say they copied Kojima. The person who plays Ned Stark from Game of Thrones, don't know the actor for that. Jake Fro suggests John Bernthal. That would be cool. Actually,
yeah.
Oh, John Bernthal opposite Keanu Reeves would be amazing. Have they ever acted
he's
together
already
in anything?
No.
I think so.
No.
He's like not a A-list celebrity, so he wouldn't like kind of take the limelight. I think.
But he's in Ghost Recon.
but he's not really an A-lister, right? Keanu Reeves is huge.
Yeah, but
Oh,
he
yeah,
could.
yeah.
I don't know. Bernthal. I feel like with this fourth Matrix movie, if they paired up Reeves with Bernthal, that could be amazing.
Oh yeah.
A couple people are suggesting Clint
yeah.
Eastwood, maybe Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh god, no.
Kaiser
Clint,
Kaiser Soze says the Neon Arcade is Blackhand.
I think I'm a little bit too young for that.
yeah. We don't know with the today's tech, man.
I'm not really 91.
And Evan Parkinson says Pavo Sasko should play Blackhand. A Gorillaz fan says Kurt Russell.
I think Powell
No,
needs to
no.
play an NPC somewhere. Just
Sorry?
a ranting. Powell needs to play an NPC somewhere in the city that's just ranting on and on and on.
To explain the lore.
or just you see a guy passing by and he's like, "Dear Lord."
Yeah.
No, for real, Berntal would be great, but I don't think he would appear because now he's in Ghost Recon. So, I mean, 2 games.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he is in.
Yeah.
He is in Ghost
So
Recon.
I kind of have zero hope for him to
Yeah.
appear. It would be cool, but zero hope.
Neon Heart suggests Harrison Ford, and then okay, Ned Stark was played by Sean Bean, so he is Sean Bean's character. See, I'm not a Game of Thrones person, so yeah, I definitely did not know the name of
But
Sean
we
Bean's
know-
character. But
if Sean Bean is, he's gonna die anyway.
exactly, as Kaiser Soze points out,
Spoilers.
he will. Yeah, if it's Sean Bean, Blackhand dies. Somebody suggested Morgan Freeman. I can't find the comment, but anyway. So
Dolph Lundgren. Dolph Lundgren is. Remember when this first rumors about Lady Gaga being in the game? Some
yeah.
time ago. I was thinking about what celebrities would fit Cyberpunk 2077, and my first thought was always Dolph Lundgren. Also
As who?
because the guy Dolph Lundgren.
As who? As Black?
Who the hell
as
is
Morgan Black?
I don't know, just a celebrity in the game, and they will pick the cover for him.
Oh, yeah.
Because the guy in the cover of Hardwire looks a lot like him. And I always thought that he would be in the game.
they should get Lawrence Fishburne.
Oh,
Have a good old Matrix reunion. Sean Connery, Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Yeah, we have a super chat. Thank you so much. Evan Parkinson says, "Hey guys, are Mike Pondsmith and cdpr going to leapfrog each other? Cyberpunk game followed by tabletop game and so on."
What does leapfrog
is-
mean?
Leapfrog, like that's a game kids play where one jumps over the other one and kind of like a frog, and then the second one jumps over the first one, and like they just move forward like that.
Pretty much just rotate their releases is what he's
Yeah. Basically,
Support
just means
each other
like
in a way.
they're kind of bouncing
Well,
off
just-
each other to
To
build this
start
thing.
with, there's a little detail that people that didn't read/play Cyberpunk Red Jumpstart Kit, obviously. It comes with the logo of Projekt Red, apart from the logo from Tolstoyan Games. And also, Mike Pondsmith promised/made jokes, you never know if he's trolling, that he was going to make a Cyberpunk 2077 pen and paper game sometime in the future.
That would be the
Wasn't that
next logical
confirmed?
progression.
I
At
thought
least
that was
have a
confirmed,
game,
yeah.
have a game set in that era. But I mean, they're kind of already doing that. Cyberpunk Red is set in the era. It's almost. It's not exactly halfway, but it's right sort of halfway between 2020 and 2077. Between those games.
But the time of the Reds is very different. Everything is destroyed. The corporations are not as powerful. They look like they are dying, even if they're not.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not the same environment. 2077 is closer to 2020. To be like a reboot of 2020. And also in Cyber Red, you don't have the net, the big net.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. But that kind of you don't have the net fully restored by 2077 either, do you?
No, but you can enter the net. In Cyberpunk Red, you have
It's
rules.
kind of a
for
resurgence,
crystal
but it's still like fragmented to a certain degree. 'Cause
Right.
obviously the net.
So
the net
anyway,
issue.
The Cyberpunk Red kind of bridges the lore between Cyberpunk 2020 and Cyberpunk 2077. So you have, you know,
There's a gap.
50 some years of history there. Yeah, fills in the gap. It's and it's
There's
really...
a gap between when because when devs commented about the situation of Pacifica in 2077, they explained that there was a crisis in the 60s. There's a crisis in the 60s, and Cyberpunk Red doesn't reach the 60s and doesn't explain this crisis.
Yeah, so it's not going to fill in everything, but it's kind of a stepping stone. It's kind of a, you know, it's so after the whole, you know, after all the events of Cyberpunk 2020, the Fourth Corporate War, you know, all kinds of things are destroyed, and then, you know, it's goes into this process of rebuilding, and, you know, what happens to the world there, and then that that carries forward into the world of 2077.
Yeah, and those situations that Madqueen just discussed could be just left in the game lore, the things that we're going to be able to read. So maybe they're saving
I
some
guess
stuff.
I guess that the idea of stopping the law of Cyberpunk Red in the 50s is avoiding the spoilers, because in Cyberpunk Red, for instance, you have that the mega corporations are weak, and how did they manage to get the power back in 2077? So all the neocorps, they are not explained in Cyberpunk Red. This crisis also changed a lot in the power. It looks this elite crisis that is not explained looks like the crash of the 94 and the collapse. Well, not the American economy can collapse again for the third time, or maybe it can. But I mean, I believe that the gap is more, you know, because these are going to be surprises in the game.
But we still don't have the full source book. Maybe they saved some stuff for that.
Yes, but we know that the time of the Reds ends in. They are not going to explain the 60s.
Yeah. That's bad. That's bad.
So this is something that we'll have to learn in the game, and also in this law book that Dark Horse is going to release the day before of the game, I believe, or the day after.
It's 4 days after or something.
Yeah. Whew.
I don't think they've released it before. It's got a lot of spoilers in there.
Yeah, true. You wouldn't want to
Blackhand
get the book. Yeah, you wouldn't want to get the book before you actually start the game or something like that.
Maybe even finish the game then.
Yeah.
Well, I'm still waiting that they release the physical Jumpstart kits. They have them at Gen Con, but
Alejandro, thank you so much for the generous super chat. Really appreciate that. No comment with that one, but shout out to you. Zachary Swab says, didn't know that there were other Cyberpunk games. So yeah, if you're not familiar with the history of Cyberpunk, I mean, it's based on a Cyberpunk series of tabletop games that came out. They started coming out in the 80s, and the most famous one you may have heard of, Cyberpunk 2020. It wasn't the first edition of it, but anyway. So yeah, there were a couple more after that have now been relegated to an alternate timeline. And so the official Cyberpunk timeline goes from Cyberpunk 2020 through Cyberpunk Red through to Cyberpunk 2077. So that's a good chunk of history, which is really awesome because it lets you see the world in a variety of different time spans.
Yes, and also it's a little detail that it's important to point out, because I've seen on wikis online and on places that are giving information on the lore of Cyberpunk, that some are including cyber generations as was part of the canon timeline of the video game, which is
yeah,
right.
It's a completely different timeline. And also the third edition that was discontinued, it's very funny. This is very funny because the third edition was discontinued and then Cyberpunk Red came out, and there are parts of Cyberpunk Red that I could recognize were copy paste from the third edition.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you had Cyber Generations in third edition. These games are officially now an alternate timeline, but some of the things from the lore of those games were incorporated into Cyberpunk Red.
Yes, they incorporated the agent, the data pools, and the pop media. We need YouTube inside Cyberpunk 2077.
They don't need YouTube inside 2077. That would just destroy it.
all these vlogs.
Imagine.
YouTube already
I mean,
is. Isn't Google
Imagine-
already creating Cyberpunk in our world?
In a
imagine
way,
the
yeah.
potential for more if these little details of the universe are added.
Oh god, it's like YouTubers go inside. You vlog from inside Cyberpunk 2077.
The scorn demonetized YouTubers strike back.
Oh yeah. Demonetization is going to kill us
The
when this game
revolt.
comes out, man. All the
Well, now
censorships.
YouTube is doing this thing while they edgy content, so we will be able to swear. And I
saw
hope
that,
this
yeah.
also includes. Yes, they are making like a separate. They have this family-friendly content that is the red, the green dollar sign on YouTube, and then you have the yellow. The yellow usually means that you're going to get demonetized, but they don't tell you so. And now the yellow is that they are creating a portfolio of clients that are interested in more edgy content, which basically means swears. So we're going to be allowed to swear, and I hope that this also includes non-pornographic nudity. So maybe for when the game is out, we will be able to do all this without getting.
Well, yeah, there are tons of advertisers that would be totally fine with that.
Yes.
Yeah. But the
So-
thing is, I want to see a difference in how much they actually buy those ads and like how much they cost. Because let's say if you get a yellow icon, the demonetization one, and then like after some time it's gonna be for your content for all these advertisers. I wonder how it's gonna be like difference in the price of those ads and how it's going to reflect on people's earnings. Because it could. Depends on the amount of content.
No,
Because
it definitely
if you,
could. Yeah.
if you have like, let's say, all these premium ads but only on green listed videos, then everyone else is going to get a huge hit. That everyone else means normal YouTubers that are not doing, I don't know, even vlogs today are going to be demonetized for some reason. But if it's not corporate stuff, goddamn, it could be a trouble for all the smaller YouTubers.
I feel like they've really overcomplicated the system and could have fixed it by
Oh,
putting
yeah.
a little notice on every ad that says this advertiser does not necessarily endorse the content of this video. And
Yeah.
that
Yes,
would have
but yes and no, because the funny part of YouTube is exactly that. Because you want your content to be associated with the fame of the person people is watching.
Sure, but then at least you're covering your butt and saying,
Yes,
you know,
but then you are going against of what YouTube is selling, and YouTube what is selling is influencers. It's people that influence the opinion of people, not only content in general. So brands want to be associated with the people.
But that's when they go with the direct endorsement deals, right? Like that's when they approach you and say, "Hey, like do a live read for us." I don't know.
But those-
Not all the
We're
brands
way
can
off
afford-
track here, but
this is way more. This is way more expensive.
right. But anyway,
Way.
we're a
Let's
little
go
off
back to
track, so
Cyberpunk.
let's get back to the topic. I mean, it's a very interesting topic, but we should get back to the cyberpunk stuff. So
What was the last thing we were discussing?
YouTube inside Cyberpunk, the lore. Of
The differences of the lore.
some of
yeah.
the lore of the discontinued games, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and there was also mention of like when someone asked like, "Oh, I thought Cyberpunk 2077 was only it and nothing else." The thing is, there is so much Cyberpunk content, as everyone on the podcast said, from tabletop RPGs all the way to now we're gonna have card games. There is the Cyberpunk one coming out where you take a role of a fixer, you send people on missions. That's gonna be out. I think we have the Cyberpunk Red. Also, not Cyberpunk Red card game or something like that.
There's like the Tall Saurian Firefight thing,
Yeah,
the hybrid board game. I'm not really sure what that is, but yeah, there's that.
yeah.
Well, according to the pictures that we saw in Gen Con, it seemed like a combination between a board and a card game.
So a lot of stuff. It makes sense. I mean, it makes sense to branch out and do all of these things if you're not only making, Cyberpunk game, but you're branching into merchandise, you're branching into other card games. So they want to have Cyberpunk everywhere. And honestly, like what I've seen, like how CD Projekt in general, when they take a brand, let's say they took The Witcher, they really, I mean, they didn't branch it out as Cyberpunk, but they're not just, okay, we can expect only video games from these guys. No, you can expect a lot of different stuff, which is kind of a game, not necessarily a video game, but outsourced to other companies, but under their constant attention. So it's cool to have a company do that, to branch out in that way rather to just microtransactions and that's it. But find new ways of getting money. You can actually
And there's gonna be more because Adam Kaczynski is even he's said so bluntly that they're gonna expand to more different avenues when it comes to marketing Cyberpunk and different mediums that you guys can consume.
Yeah, the core of it is the video game, but everything else around it you earn to market your game. Because if people are gonna buy a card game, they're gonna see it if they don't know about it already somehow. That there's a video game, they're gonna play it, or back and forth. People play the video game, they will go and play the card games, which they wouldn't just like that. I know a lot of people that don't go into card games just like that. I went into a card game because of The Witcher, Gwent, and everything, and even that, I don't play that much, but I play Thronebreaker because of it, and I'm not much into those kind of games. So, yeah, it makes sense to do it, honestly. If it's connected with some brand, people will be more inclined to buy it, especially people who don't play it. So yeah.
Cyberpunk merchandise. You don't believe for how long I'd love to see this. Cyberpunk merchandise.
Yeah, but it's cool to have all these like people who played 2020, who played tabletop RPGs all these years ago, as Ash said, to see a difference in history, how Night City changes, and everyone who goes into 2077 that goes into Red is gonna be like this nostalgia trip in a way.
And we also have to remember that the game is actually like 85% CDPR's vision, according to remember the podcast we had with Lalea where she said that. So there's going to be a lot of new stuff as well. It's not all going to be like steeped in the lore and
that's great because at the same time you have the parts of all these things that you played for years, which is Night City and the characters, and that you're going to have them brought to life in front of you, which what all this emotionally means when you're a nerd, and then added to that, you're going to have an added value of it's going to be surprising and in a quality that we can trust is going to be good. Also, it has my Punch Me Facial proof. But this is the thing, to have both things at the same time, because it's not something usual. Either generally when someone takes an existing IP or an existing idea, either they want to do it exactly the same, or they want to do a completely different thing. Having
That's
this different thing and at the same time that has some relation with the old thing, that is old and it's new. They could have gone on with the timeline and make a completely different thing happening in 2077. But it had to be Cyberpunk 2020 because the people doing it that are nerds. So even if the vision is new, the vision is based on years playing Cyberpunk 2020. It's not something that they picked from nothing and they don't understand anything about. It's something that they lived.
Yeah, when you think about, and I want to sound like a suck up, but when you think about CD Projekt as a company, they have really gotten successful at taking, let's say, some lost gems and just getting the popularity back. Like they take The Witcher, they expand it throughout the whole world. People know about The Witcher because of. Then they take Cyberpunk, which has been released all these years ago, and a lot of people did not know about it. And now when the trailer came out, honestly, I was surprised by the number of trailer views. I was like, okay, there's a lot of people that actually know this.
I would love to be in the head of Mike Pondsmith and see how he sees it, because it's amazing. I guess, well, I don't guess, I take granted that he is very happy to see the work of his life come to life,
Yeah.
while he's alive to enjoy it,
Mhm.
and with this level of attention,
Yeah.
because this game is going to sell a fucking lot. A lot of people are going to play it, a lot, an immense lot of people are going to play it.
Mhm.
And not only his vision is going to come to life. There's also this whole plan of merchandise. Cyberpunk is going to be everywhere, and I'm
Mhm.
so glad. I mean, I am so glad.
Yeah, we can hear by the voice, by the tone of the
The
voice.
tone of your voice is very evident. You are
No,
listening.
Yes, it's very difficult for me to discuss this subject with people that didn't play the pen and paper game, because it's really exciting when something I had a similar feeling when I watched the Rings for the first time. So something that has lived on your mind for so long, and we are used to adaptations of quote unquote old products, or feeding on the nostalgia done by people who have no fucking idea what are they doing, like this film about the Joker that is going on right now, that is not really based on the Joker, and the people that are writing it have no idea about who is the Joker. And this is something that we are used to, someone picking something that already existed to capitalize on the name, and then do it completely different, something completely different that has nothing to do with what people had in their minds. So when one of those things that we all had in our minds comes to the hands of someone who absolutely loved the original, and they are doing their best to treat it with love and respect, when this happened, it's like, oh my god. I honestly didn't believe that I would live long enough to see a video game of Cyberpunk 2077 come to life. But when I was a kid, I thought I would see a film.
But
All right.
you don't know. You don't know. Maybe it's coming out in
Film
a
would
couple
be
of years.
awesome.
Well,
too.
thanks to the video game, maybe a film is.
Yeah.
Or
I
series.
believe. Sorry?
Or series.
Somebody
They're
in the
popular.
chat just said they'd love to see an anime set between Cyberpunk Red and Cyberpunk 2077, something like that. Yeah, Evan Parkinson. There it is. Love to see a Cyberpunk anime set between Cyberpunk Red and Cyberpunk 2077. Seems like, I mean, an animated series might work for something like this. So, but then again, I mean, maybe you'd want it live action just because, you want to capture the gritty feel of it, the dark feel of it.
If you have the budget. Honestly.
Well, exactly. I mean,
if they
good
don't have a
animation's
budget-
not cheap either. But I don't know. Maybe Madqueen knows which is more expensive to produce on average. But it seems like
Animation or film?
what's that?
What's the question? Repeat the question.
Oh, do you know what's more on average? I mean, obviously there's a ton of variables, but on average, is it more expensive to produce an animated film or a live action film?
On average, it's more expensive to use an animated film, except if the live action film is mostly based on things that you need to create for it. And if we're talking
Like
about
if there's a
science
ton
fiction,
of CG, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
and
So
also
technically-
it's also the wardrobe and also is different, and you have a lot of effects, not only computer generated.
Right.
And this is what makes the production very expensive.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I would not have guessed that.
I would like to answer a question that was addressed directly to me, because Kaiser said, and here I thought Madqueen didn't like the idea of a punk computer game. Originally, I didn't before CD Projekt Red came and took the game, because well, when I played Cyberpunk 2020, computer games weren't at enough height. The technology wasn't there to do something that was anywhere close to do something interesting for Cyberpunk. And although I love video games, I don't like developers that much in general terms. And this is a problem that I have in general. I am totally against greed, and when it comes to every part of the creation process. even if it's films or series. And we're talking about an industry where the usual thing to do is to spend the less money possible to make a thing that sells as much as possible. And this applied to something that I love. It's not the most amusing prospect. So yeah, for long, with very few exceptions, the average is greed and more greed. And I didn't expect that anyone was going to take a Cyberpunk game seriously. Not as seriously as a nerd would take the game seriously. And then some nerds from Poland, they took the game.
I do have to comment on that. You mentioned developers. I actually like the thing is.
I meant developing comics. Sorry.
Oh, publishing.
Not the people, not the people actually working in the game.
Yeah, I agree with that because if anyone else, I don't want to judge, but if anyone else took this game, they wouldn't put this much detail and attention to it as CD Projekt Red. I can sign that. Honestly, because a lot of these companies right now that were good in the past, that I would gladly give them this content to work on, right now and what they're producing, it's not even close to their previous work.
What about
not
Rockstar?
Even close? Not anymore. They focus too much on the online. They didn't release a single story expansion for, I think, GTA 5, and they won't release it for Red Dead Redemption 2, I believe. They want to focus on the online mode. So right now, no. Before, yeah.
Even though Rockstar has a great quality, I must confess, I don't especially like the way they handle narratives. Under a storytelling perspective, they don't make me absolutely happy. In fact, they are constantly losing me as a player for the way they handle narrative. And I need to make a conscious effort to keep playing a Rockstar game.
Yeah, their narrative is sometimes bad, but their characters are iconic. Honestly, their previous characters.
Humor is their strong. Humor is their strong suit.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The characters they came up with in the past, they're icons even to this day. But when it comes to narrative, yeah, sometimes they can become a little bit repetitive. And now with all these 2K publishing and Borderlands, how they handle that, honestly,
Yikes.
no.
A big yikes.
Yeah. So I would always go for CD Projekt, honestly, because how they treat the people and everything they do, like every single trailer we use, there is no copyright. Yeah, every time I use a GTA trailer, I can't. It's blocked. So yeah, that's also a little detail.
I had to delete. I just in case deleted. I had Borderlands.
Oh.
Not that I had a lot, but I always liked Borderlands, so I talked about it a couple of times, and I made a trailer reaction when the last Borderlands was shown, and just in case I deleted everything. To be safe. It's like, what do you expect us to do?
Yeah, especially after they start sending people. But yeah, to go back on track, as you said, it makes us fans really like. I'm not like I played the tabletop just a couple of times because it's impossible to find people here. I knew about it, not as much as people here, but when I got into it, I was honestly happy that they took the tasks to finish this game. Because when you look at the world, when you look at the source material, and when you look at this game and how much it has, oh my god. They nail everything. Not everything, but they nail most of the stuff. And ultimately, they create a game which is played for years onwards because of the details and how they handle. Because today, in the industry, like, it's not only how your game looks like and plays, it's how your company does it, how your company, their public relation is. Do people love them? Do people dislike them? Everything now is closely tied to sales. So I don't blame, honestly, CD Projekt Red for being honest and actually respecting the customers, because ultimately that's what sells. right now that's what sells.
The
And
big,
if it's genuine,
the big focus on community too is huge.
yeah.
In the age of the
Yeah.
internet, this is something that companies really need to learn and really need to excel at. And some are doing it very well. Some are learning to master the use of social media and community involvement, and some are not. And that makes a big impact. And we're in a day and age where, we had a small indie game that turned down Epic exclusivity, and people were buying the game who had no intention of playing it, who they just wanted to support the developer, for doing something they saw as pro-consumer. And so what CD Projekt Red is doing on that front, how supportive they've been of us, of all of 4 of our channels and this community podcast, and even having some of their staff appear on here. I mean, it's been fantastic, and
awesome,
it's a win-win situation for everybody,
For everyone. Yeah.
us and them, and all the people listening who want to learn more about the game and don't want to just get the corpo speak from them, but want to hear the, we have Pavo on here, and he just talks, he just rants, and they get the real raw story from him about what's going on with the game. I mean, people love that. The community loves that. We love that, and it is truly fantastic. And it's fantastic that it was such a perfect marriage of stuff. Because I mean, you have CD Projekt Red, who's not only got the passion to create this game properly, but they have the resources to do it, and they have the community focus, and they have the goodwill of the gaming community. Like, there's just, I completely agree with what all of you have said about, I don't think there could have been a more perfect game developer for this game. I'm sure there's a lot of smaller studios who would have had the passion and drive and want to do it well and want to do it properly, and been fans of the game, but just wouldn't have had the resources to do it.
Are you reading the chat?
No.
In general terms, because I believe that the next business we should do is establishing a fan club of Pavel Sasko, because everybody's sending comments about him.
The Pavo Fasco. Yeah, I love this. M. Kokabil, we squish Pavo. Yes. We all squish Pavo. By the way, squish
after that podcast.
Please squish that like button if you haven't yet. We really appreciate that, and it tells YouTube that you appreciate this content. On our normal podcast, I say the like button likes to be slammed. It likes it rough. On this podcast, it likes a nice tender squish. So please do that. Also,
Squish it.
subscribe to our channel. Subscribe to Last Known Meal, NeonArcade, and the Madqueen Show. We have some excellent partners in this endeavor, and it's been fantastic working with all of these channels to produce this podcast, and also collaborating on other stuff. And so hit the subscribe buttons and the notification bells. We're hearing that the notification bells are becoming more important for analytics and stuff like that.
Not only the notification bells, people as viewers need to tell YouTube constantly. They just changed it all over again recently.
Oh god.
I mean,
Yeah,
we were complaining about views going down because subscribers didn't get notified of our videos, because it seems that now you not only need to click the notification bell, you also need to inside your notification tab and then there say that you want to be notified every day.
Oh
God.
We really need a competing platform.
Annoying. It's so annoying. And I'm talking as audience here. I mean, as YouTuber, it's also annoying. But as audience, this is completely annoying. I mean, if I already said that I want to receive notifications about a channel, how many times do I have to tell you, YouTube, yes, send me notifications. I want to know.
No, they've got it figured out. You don't understand what you want out of their platform. They know what you want. They know. Yeah. It's overly complicated and ridiculous.
The problem with this is that it's tied with the other problem that to avoid a certain type of people to taking advantage of the algorithm, it's impossible to find things that are related to what you usually watch. Then I enter into YouTube and my first screen shows videos I have no interest in and have nothing to do with the things that I usually watch on YouTube.
No, they know what you want to watch, Madqueen. They know what you want to. You don't know what you want to watch.
They know it better than me, obviously,
That's what they think. Yeah.
because when I enter, I just see the videos like, well, no.
Well, and
None of them is appealing because it's not on the subjects that I usually watch things.
Realistically, we just need a competing platform, and they'll get their act
Mhm,
together.
mhm.
That'll force them
Yeah.
to get their act together.
eventually,
Twitch got
we're
one,
we're
so why
hoping.
not?
But anyway, in the meantime, I mean, we all have Discord communities, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you all do. So join those, and then it's beneficial to us to have our audience not just on YouTube, because if YouTube ever went away, we would need somewhere where we could find all of you. So join the Discord servers, subscribe to us on other platforms as well, Twitch, Twitter, wherever we're active. Do that kind of a thing. That's really beneficial as well. So then, and for any content creators that you have, that you follow and are fans of, so that would just makes it easier if we ever need to communicate with you, and YouTube for
And
some reason
notifications
is not
there
an
actually
option.
work.
Well, yeah, exactly. Notifications that work. What? That's as crazy as an online store having a shopping cart. Okay.
No, but to continue there, people. I can't.
Would you mind if I answer the question?
Yes,
That wasn't
please,
directly
go ahead.
to me. I lost the question, but someone asked how many times did I watch Ghost in the Shell. I lost the count around 3,500. For 2 years, I watched the film every other day, and I'm not exaggerating here.
Oh my god.
I lost the count at 300.
Oh god. Thought 15 times that I did it was a lot. Now you come with like, oh, I stopped counting after 300. God. Oh, it is a good
Yes.
movie though. I recommend it to everyone. It's
I
great.
can't think of anything I've watched that much. 300 times.
I only can think of one thing that I watched more or less the same, which is The Nightmare Before Christmas. Because I watched The Ghost in the Shell, and the other day I watched Nightmare Before Christmas.
When I was a kid, I watched a Star Wars movie every weekend, but I still don't think that would add up to that much.
Oh god.
Especially when
Man.
my mom was like, "Go play outside."
Oh, but
She
to
should have
go
told
back.
you, use the Force.
What's that?
She should have told you, use the Force.
Use the Force. You do not want to watch Star Wars. You want to go play
Force
outside.
yourself outside.
Force.
Right.
That's pretty much how it went. Yep.
But to go back to that subject, to continue, I cannot stress this enough how much community means now to everyone. Because just uploading content on YouTube and, just getting those numbers, subscribers, views, whatever, is not going to be enough. Because if YouTube and everything comes to an end, when YouTube goes down and you don't have an established community, you are going to take a huge hit. But if you have a community that is willing to follow you to other platforms that are also normal, that are for change normal, people will go because they want to see you. So building a community now, it's important, not just for us, but also for companies. They have to understand that already.
Instead of smashing YouTubers because they want to talk about their games. I'm not looking at anyone 2K.
No. Not looking
Exactly.
at. We're not doing a double take. Take two at anybody. All right, but getting back to Cyberpunk 2077, who we know the company loves it when we talk about their game. What else? And that sounded sarcastic. That was not sarcastic. They really do.
Which should be the normal thing to do.
It should. What do you know?
Logically.
The word gets out there. You're
Yeah.
getting free publicity.
Wow, promoting their game.
Imagine that
sucks.
Projekt saying when Adam Kaczynski accidentally explained about multiplayer to his investors and about the 3 games, and everybody was talking about the 3 games, and Projekt was like, well, no, not exactly. Like, okay, he said that. And obviously everybody was reporting that if they would have done the same, because it was a quote-unquote leak, a leak that was the responsibility because it was accidentally talked about. What would have they done? Copyright strike everybody down? Imagine that.
Yeah, that would be a huge hit, and that's the problem for CD Projekt now. They are in the spotlight as the heroes of the industry. Every single one of their steps is watched now, and even like the slightest mistake, like caused them a lot of issues. I still remember those, when the working issues surfaced, and then everyone started bashing everyone. It was a crazy, crazy, crazy. How would I say 2 weeks? And it's like
You
no
mean the
one is
Kotaku
perfect.
article?
Yes.
This Kotaku article where Jason Schreier said clearly that he didn't have any quote from any person that was currently working at the studio. You mean this article where he was talking about the working conditions at the company 3-4 years ago, like it was a new thing? You mean this article?
But do you think
Yeah.
how many people do you think actually read the full article and not just the title and then made an assumption?
No, a
so
lot of
many
people
people do that.
read the full article, but the thing is that the article is incredibly manipulative
Even
because
if
it made
you
it
read
look
the
like
full
he was.
article, yeah. Even if you read the full article, you were not getting like there was so much framing and so much spin on that. That was very disappointing. And we had just come off of we had just praised Schreier for his expose work on the Anthem situation, and then it's just been a downhill slide since then. And that was a key. That was a serious disappointment. I mean, we've had issues with Kotaku for a long time, but
yeah, especially coming from a well-established journalist in a way and writer to do something like that.
yeah, exactly. It's very disappointing, but there's more going. Objective journalism is no longer the goal. There's always corporate interests for these companies, these websites.
Yeah.
There's
and
an interest,
honestly,
and if you catch them on if you catch them at a candid moment, they'll admit, yeah, we have to soften our reviews, even if we don't think the game is good. We have to sort of fluff up the reviews, or else we don't get the advanced access to their games next time.
Yeah, and that's the thing. When the game comes out, just a quick. When the game comes out, if there's some things that I don't like, when I talk about them that I don't like something or everyone, it doesn't mean that we hate the game or the company or anyways. Some elements, like maybe we don't like them and it's a normal thing. But if a company takes that as a normal criticism, then it's okay. So yeah.
Nothing is perfect, of course.
It's funny because you're I'm constantly apologizing to Martin Shubovic directly or indirectly for everything that I said about demo and his music and not trusting him to take the music direction in the appropriate direction. and I made this to people that is working on the game, and every time they mention it, I'm like, oh my god, I am so sorry, I didn't trust him. And they answer me, but don't worry, he's an artist. I mean, he's open to criticism. I'm like, okay, yes, I know, but I was very cruel. Sometimes it's hard to make criticism, even if you don't do it from a place where you want to be destructive. When you don't want to be destructive, sometimes it's difficult. And also, if you live in this environment where this level of scrutiny, as LastKnownMeal was saying, is so huge, you actually want to be more careful because everything that you say can be exaggerated.
That's true. Sadly.
Yep.
Was there anything?
Madqueen the Savage. I am so sorry. If someone from CD Projekt is listening to this, please tell Martin Iwinski. I'm so sorry I didn't trust him.
Well, I think they know we're very supportive of their game and their efforts of what they're doing over there. All right. One thing we haven't talked about that we had someone I think it was Neon. There was some new news about music in the game. Did you want to share about that?
Yeah, so Marcin, I can't say his last name.
Martin Shubovic?
There you go. He took to Twitter, shared a little snippet of some of the new music in the game. You guys probably heard that from the deep dive when we're entering the data fortress in the net. So he shared a snippet of that. If you guys want to check that out, I can link it in the comments. But yeah, it's very interesting how he created this. I don't even know what kind of device this is.
Yeah, it was a
It's I don't even know what that is. Do you guys have any
no.
idea?
Thought you know. It
Very
was like
no, I don't. Very interesting little device here.
he might be using electricity in a way in different
Mhm.
pitches to produce some sounds for it. That's I never saw that. Honestly, it's the first time I see that kind of a machine. I'm like,
Yeah, it's
what is
crazy
this?
looking. It almost looks like a motherboard of a computer.
Yeah. So to actually utilize the sounds of electricity, that's smart. That's genius.
And the music itself is phenomenal. It's very,
Yeah.
emotional and dark and insidious like cyberpunk music should be. So if you guys enjoy that, you can check that out on his Twitter page.
Didn't they actually like post on GOG, or if you buy the game you get the music for it? They didn't release that yet, right?
No, you get the full OST, digital, right? But
Yeah.
no, I think they've only released a couple things so far. I believe they said they're gonna release some more samurai music before launch.
Mhm.
So we'll hear
Well,
other.
I believe that the EP is 5 songs long, so if they release more, they're going to release the full album.
Sure, yeah, that's a possibility as well, which would be cool.
Yeah, well, I want to
But
see.
after they are you have the album with the regular edition of Cyberpunk 2077. Am I correct? I know you have it with a special edition, but with a collector's edition. But
You have it
in
with
the
both.
in the regular, you have
You
the
have it
music
with
as well.
both, yeah. You have it with both. And I want to make the distinction. The Samurai EP is separate from the OST, so it's very possible that we could get it beforehand and buy that separately or download it separately.
I think they're gonna release every 2 months from now on. Makes sense.
Just regular content.
No. I
Or
mean
music.
the samurai music from EP.
Okay, yeah.
Because the from chipping in and to never fade away was almost 2 months, and when you think about it, building up hype, and you have 5 songs, 3 more every 2 months, something
Makes
like that.
sense.
Yeah, especially because you want some time for the music to stay solo, because if you have everything, like, yeah, but if you have, like, let's say chipping in, then you have never fade away and then a pause, people are gonna listen to that, get some views on that, and then you release more. So it makes sense, and you actually have something to release.
And just think about how much music they have. Like they have to have all this music for all these first-person narrative kind of cutscenes to like ebb and flow in the background to kind of give you that feeling of whatever's happening in that first-person cutscene, right?
Yeah.
There's gonna be so much.
Yeah, honestly, I would love to talk with the lead sound designer for this. Not the music, but generally the atmosphere and the sounds of objects.
I read an interview with him some time ago. I can't remember his name, but there was a very interesting in the sound design.
Because that, honestly, that level of sound design is insane. And creating good atmosphere is difficult. And I think Pavel actually said that atmosphere is really important. So if a mission requires like that certain atmosphere and a certain music and certain sounds in the background, man.
And this for each of the districts of the game, because they have a different personality, and the Badlands.
And then you have to
and potentially space in the expansions.
And then you have the radio stations layered on top of that, right? So each car is going to have apparently unique radio stations to that brand or car or whatever. So there's even more layered on top, and you'll be able to choose those, right?
I mean, I'm so glad that they are putting so many different songs, because I don't know if you played typical game of putting the radio while you're playing Fallout, especially Fallout 4. You have different radios and only one was cool, but the number of songs wasn't that great. So it means that when you played for 200 hours,
yeah,
you were already hating every single song you heard so far.
I think GTA does that really well, but that's all licensed music.
How could you get tired of sneaking around a super mutant base listening to bongo bongo bongo? I don't want to leave the Congo.
Because it was funny the first times.
I'm sorry, you cut out there.
It was funny the first 1,000 times.
Well, at least
That's
but
the
that
problem.
1,001st time. I know it's the curse of the 1,001st time.
And
That's where it stops being
about
funny.
GTA, I cannot have an opinion because I didn't play for that long. As I
Mm-hmm.
told you before, Rockstar has this thing of losing me in their games.
I mean, they have popular music, mainstream music. They have the money for it, so why not? They're using it really well. But if you want original music, you gotta put in a lot of work to actually make it interesting. Talking about Fallout, I'm one of the people that doesn't listen to the radio. Must be the only one here.
You don't listen to the radio.
Just imagine this. You're in the wasteland, complete silence, and then you just hear someone just walking by the radio, and it's like blasting everyone like in an enemy zone, idiot.
Yeah, and they're in stealth mode, so you can't see them.
Just
Oh,
hear the
yeah,
music.
I don't use I see.
Yeah, I rarely, and largely because I was heavily involved in content creation. Whenever I was playing Fallout 4, it was like any moment there could be a clip that I'd want to use in a video, and so I couldn't risk having the radio on because even if you walked by a radio that was playing somewhere in the game, you'd get a copyright hit. So
Yeah, that's why I
do
always
blog,
put
right?
100% narration and on the licensed music.
yeah.
Because you were walking and suddenly you saw a radio inside the universe and copyright strike.
Yeah, exactly. Anyways,
Nice.
shouldn't have that issue with Cyberpunk.
No, actually,
I don't believe they're using.
Elijah already confirmed that.
Yeah, they're creating a ton of original music for the game. Are they even licensing any pre-existing music?
We don't know.
Well, when Lalaya was in the podcast, she said that the idea was not to license anything. That wasn't on the plans.
They're not
That-
licensing, but they're using Refused as the voice.
Right.
Yes, but they are hiring them and they are keeping the copyright.
Yes.
It's not like licensing.
Yes.
So everything is under CD Projekt anyway, so we shouldn't have any issues.
What
At
about
all.
Hyper in the archives? The Bullets song from the trailers.
Bullets, no.
That's
But that was licensed for the trailer.
Yes.
true.
Yeah, I doubt we're gonna see that song actually in the game.
Because this was written by someone else, and then they hired the best band to play it. Technically, they're just employees on that project, and everything else belongs to CD Projekt. But as Madqueen said, this was an already made song that has its own music rights, and then it was licensed for the trailer, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
But I don't know, like CDPR knows, they know how YouTube is important for them, for their marketing game. And if you have like 1,000 people talking about the game and using your footage, you're not going to
Yeah, why would you
copyright
want to be
that.
make your content creators paranoid about these things, right?
Yeah.
Especially when they're making their own soundtracks, which is
It's-
better than
you
licensing. in
benefit
my
from
opinion.
that. When will
Yeah.
people understand? You benefit from people playing your game. Because when I see someone playing the game, they enjoy it, I'm going to go into it. I'm going to buy it.
Happy
Yeah, but
customers.
unfortunately, how this I think goes. For instance, in Fallout 4, it doesn't depend on Bethesda; it depends on the music.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
But that's why it's good that they are. If CDPR owns the music, then they and they. Yeah, because if you're licensing some pre-existing music from somebody, then they might have that in the YouTube copyright system.
And if they actually want to enable that, they would have to pay a lot of money to the artist to have a song which is mainstream to be friendly for YouTube. They would have to pay a lot of money for those rights.
Plus, that would just break immersion for the game. I think that having original music in Cyberpunk is ideal because
you don't have Beyonce technically.
yeah, exactly.
Cyberpunk.
Alternate timeline. It worked in Fallout because it's a branching timeline from, the 50s, and they had that 50s motif. It worked for for them to use those old songs. With Cyberpunk, does not work as well unless they're using songs from prior to where the timeline splits.
In a way, yeah.
In a way, but like, yeah, exactly. Like our music from 2019, in the year 2019 in Cyberpunk, it's a completely different world. It's just far too different. It's not like Fallout's the same world except there was a nuclear war. Cyberpunk is okay. It is the same world, but it's different in so many different ways that it's just if you brought in any of our modern, any music that you could hear on the radio.
Yeah, and technically you create a problem because what is modern right now is not going to be modern in 2077, especially in a different kind of reality.
Exactly, yeah.
It's like Post Malone. Yeah, Post Malone is like, oh, so this evergreen song from 2018, I listened to it when I was a kid. God damn it.
Why are you hating on my boy Post Malone? Come on.
No, not hating. I'm just, he wouldn't fit.
I know, yeah.
Yeah,
No,
Post is cool.
Makes sense.
But yeah.
No, I like the direction they're taking the music. It all sounds fantastic so far.
Yeah, definitely. We'll see. I'm really looking forward to the soundtrack, man. Because the Witcher one is amazing, and I use it for
amazing. Yeah.
Yes, every single one. Honestly, every single Witcher game had amazing soundtrack. Not just the third one. Every single before that. Witcher 1 has some amazing music. You can really see that the time and it was made, how it evolved, but damn. But it really came to, let's say, it was finished in a way, atmospherically in The Witcher 3.
Yes.
By using what was the name of that band? God damn it. Forget the important stuff. Just a sec, I'll find it.
I'm also really looking forward to that. Because they made mention that they're gonna have something similar to Priscilla's concert.
Yeah, Percival.
Very
Percival.
much larger. Oh,
Yeah.
that's the name you're looking for?
Yeah, Percival.
Yeah, but at such a larger scale, so that's gonna be insane.
We'll see that. We'll see.
They've got to have Silverhand doing some music at some point. They just has to. I don't know how they'd work it in exactly with him being his digital self, but even if it's like an old video of his concert where there was a riot.
Even speculation that Keanu was gonna sing in the game because he had a band back in the day.
Oh, did he?
I don't think that's gonna pan out.
No.
Obviously, refused is on board, right?
Yeah, so they would rather dub or do something like that or synchronize rather than have Keanu. Having Keanu sing, that would blow up all over the internet. That clip would be shared.
Epic. Yeah.
Yusef says we could have a flashback scene where you play as Silverhand. Imagine that. Exactly, you could. You could do that with the Brain Dance. That would be awesome. I look forward to seeing what kind of Brain Dance stuff they do. I love that in Fallout 3. One of my favorite parts was where you go into the that VR pod and are like living in that other. So yeah, to have like a mission that takes place in somebody's memory or something, that'd be fantastic. Whenever I want to see, whenever I look for the word brain dance in my brain, I always immediately go to like Dreamware or something. That the thing they had in what's that? Longest Journey, that whole series. Anyway, never mind. All right. But yeah, the brain dance should be really cool.
True, man. Dry. At least we had something, honestly, this week. Otherwise, it would be really goddamn dry for this podcast, for real.
Yeah.
If
I'm
we
sad at
didn't
how
have-
little news we got this week, but I suppose it's bound to happen from time to time.
Well, usually these lulls in news mean that we can expect something rather big in the near future.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna get these next demo showcases out of the way. I think the last ones are end of October. There's one October 3rd to 6th, and then end of October with the different languages and whatever. And then potentially we'll see something, maybe even sooner, of course. 'Cause that is still a month away, but
Maybe, but maybe next week is gonna bring like they released some news. I mean, this week with Mihal and everything, but it's just snippets.
Little tidbits, yeah.
Yes.
The drip feed is real.
The drip hype.
Something will leak.
Let's.
Will it be
let's leak
true? Go
something.
figure.
I'm kidding
I
about
mean,
the leak.
we could just do what the mainstream news does and just start making stuff up.
Yes.
George Clooney is in the game.
George
Yeah.
Clooney.
Beyonce is in it
after all,
too.
they are constantly making things up, and they don't pay any consequences for that. So
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Then they get promoted to elite status on YouTube is what happens.
But we have morals and ethics.
So I hear.
yeah.
All right.
having
Anything?
some-
Any final
Sponsored by
thoughts before we?
Arasaka.
Yeah. Any final thoughts before we wrap up today?
No, I just want to say thank you everyone for coming. That's it. I appreciate everyone coming every single week because I see a lot of people on the chat that come to each of the channels, and that's cool to have people actually switch channels and be introduced with more YouTubers that do Cyberpunk. It's amazing. Thank you so much for that.
Yes,
There's a lot
absolutely.
of new people every time as well too. So
Mhm.
you guys are new here. Every Sunday we do this. So feel free
you-
to stop in and at any of the channels.
Yusef says, "Thanks
the
you,
comments
dear Lord.
today
You guys
are
are awesome."
especially
Yeah.
the comments today are especially amusing.
You know, doing this live is fantastic. Having the interaction with the chat is fantastic, and it really makes things entertaining. It's really great to actually feel like we're having a conversation with all of you who are listening. So thank you for being here as well. Neon Heart asks, how many NPCs will Night City have? Lots.
Well, actually, that was Smith when he thought about making a game on the Cyberpunk universe, because you needed to have huge crowds on the street. Technology didn't allow that. And how NPCs will work, I don't remember if they specified how many, but there are different archetypes, and they will behave according to their archetypes. And it sounds like there are going to be lots, but I don't remember if a number.
Neon Heart says, guys, don't leave yet. It's so cool to listen to you. We really appreciate it. M. Kokabil says, Ash needs to be here more. Well, thank you very much. I'm glad my presence is appreciated. Usually I'm just too busy on Sundays and also, take the time to breathe and rest a little bit. But it is always fun. It is always fun. So, I mean, I'll see what I can do.
You also get the opportunity to talk about it in your two other podcasts, right? If there's Cyberpunk news that happens midweek or whatever, you guys talk about it on your.
We definitely do, but it's a different animal. Like this podcast is all Cyberpunk, and it's more relaxed. There's more of us. It's very different, and I've always enjoyed the times that I have been on here.
Sure.
And
it's
for
good to
people
have you.
asking, next week it's going to be in my channel.
The Madqueen Show. So make sure you're subscribed to the Madqueen Show's channel for the next podcast on October 6th, and then NeonArcade on October 13th, LastKnownMeal on October 20th, and then right back here on the Triple S League channel on October 27th. We should do a Halloween themed show, maybe. all of us dress up, or just say that you're dressed up because they can't see us. So
A cyber ghost.
I'm dressed up right now. What are you talking about?
D Manser says you guys are the best booster gang in town. Oh man, thank you so much. We have the best audience in the.
Oh wait, Steph. We'll start nicely once there were no technical issues.
Yeah, right.
Oh god,
yeah, I didn't have technical issues lately. I believe. Yes, except on my personal streams on my channel with just myself. But I believe for quite a while here in the community podcast, I didn't have technical issues for quite a while. So be nice and don't call the storm, okay?
I miss the keyboard.
That wasn't actually.
The vigorous typing.
No, don't worry, guys. We'll be back. We'll be back every Sunday, and then you have videos all over a week when we upload. You have all the
Yeah.
links down there. So check them out.
Yes, check on the channels because YouTube is.
Gorillas fan says dress up as bozos for the Halloween episode. Yeah, that could be fun. That could be fun.
But then we need webcams.
Yes, maybe someday. Someday we'll have
Yeah.
real studios and real everything.
Yeah. It's actually really like sometimes technically like having all webcams. Oh, it's a nightmare for live.
Yeah.
Yes.
It definitely can
Yes.
be.
Oh, it's a nightmare.
If we do a red playthrough, we'll probably need those though, right?
Yeah. You will see me
That
picking my
ends up
nails.
happening. What's that?
You will see me picking my nails.
That
Because
is
it's something that I do when I'm playing the games. I need to think what I will do.
it's better than
Yes,
picking your
that's-
nose.
Just don't eat it.
No, I'm on diet. This is not on my diet.
Yeah, but if you take
If I could take
calorie
away
dense.
my nose, probably I would. It's not the case.
eating your own boogers is net 0 calories, Bill, because it came.
Effort to chew.
Yeah. Yeah, there
celery.
you go. It's negative calories. All right. Anyway, this has clearly gone off the rails. That means it is time to bid farewell. But thank you all so much. This has been a lot of fun, and we will see you all on our own channels in our future videos this week. But we will be back next Sunday, same time, for the Cyberpunk 2077 community podcast on the Madqueen Show's channel next time. So, All right. Take care, everybody. Have a great rest of your weekend and a great week this week. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye bye.
Bye.